Anything from the previous weeks?
Limbs you told, na? 5 limbs.
5 limbs of bhakti. Okay. What are the 5 most important limbs of bhakti?
Chanting.
Worship.
Sadhu.
Living in Mathura.
Yes, Namvas. And most important, what you're doing now. Huh? Bhagavad Shravan. Yes. So, chanting, Bhagavad Shravan, Sadhu Sang, and Mathura Vas and Archa Vigraha Seva. 5 things. Mathura Vrindavan. So, Dham Vas. Dham Vas means
Including Puri.
Puri Dham, Mathura, Vrindavan, Mayapur, right? All these. Dwarka sometimes. But yeah. So these are all very, very special places where the Lord personally resided. So जो भगवान का निवास स्थान है उसको धाम बोला जाता है. जैसे हमने एक बार डिस्कस किया था डिफरेंस बिटवीन तीर्थ एंड धाम. Right. Okay. So let's get started with today's verse. If there is any other points anyone remember?
We were not there, but yesterday, Maharaj gave a class.
Okay.
Spoke on
Oh.
5 points and the whole song of Sloka.
Wow.
That's for various class. So he was mentioning this Mathura Vas. He was saying that wherever there is ISKCON temple, because Krishna has appeared there.
Yes.
Established a Prabhupada. That is also one.
Correct.
Living in temples.
So ISKCON temples are like the spiritual embassies. यहाँ पे visa stamping होगा तो जाओगे. Okay. So I think we were discussing. So the 10th chapter essentially is titled Opulence of the Absolute. भगवान अपना विभूति बता रहे हैं, अलग-अलग ऐश्वर्य बता रहे हैं. So this 8th chapter till 12th chapter, right? This is like 7th chapter to 12th chapter is devotional service. उसमें भी हमने देखा 7th and 8th are very, very confidential, and then the 9th was most confidential, and 10th one is actually a continuation of the most confidential knowledge. So यहाँ पे भगवान वापस अर्जुन को बोल रहे हैं कि because you are my dear friend and devotee, I shall speak for your benefit further, giving knowledge that is better than I have already explained. And then he glorifies the knowledge that even the demigods are not knowing this, etc. And then he starts describing that he who knows me, that I am unborn, beginningless, etc. etc. ऐसा करके बहुत सारी अपनी विभूतियां बताते हैं. और जो इस तरह से मुझे जानता है, यहाँ सारी चीजें मेरे से आ रही है. जैसे हमने सारे क्वालिटीज का चर्चा किया था, राइट? इंटेलिजेंस हो गया, ट्रूथफुलनेस हो गया, फॉरगिवनेस हो गया, right? All these qualities are actually also coming from Krishna. Then even I think the 6th and 7th shlokas he's talking about how different sages come from him, how the manus come from him. What else is there? Yeah. How the sages and manus come from him. And even who's that? Progenitors, manus are born from me. All the living beings are, all the population of the various planets essentially is coming from him through the agency of manus. And one who factually is convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service of this there is no doubt. So इतना सारा बता दिया. 9th chapter में भी बहुत सारे opulences बताए, भक्ति के बारे में बताया कि how devotees they actually serve him. What is the exchange between the Lord and the devotees, right? और उसके पहले वाले chapters में भी बहुत सारा विभूतियां बताया, right? I am the taste of water, I am sun and moon are like my eyes, etc. So right now, this 8th shloka, right? इसको चतुर श्लोकी बोला जाता है. 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th, right? So this 8th shloka is actually the summary of everything. Out of the 4, particularly the 8th shloka is actually almost like a condensed version of everything. And we'll look at that in detail. So let's chant the 8th shloka first. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Let's chant this again. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita.
अहं सर्वस्व प्रभवो
Aham sarvasya prabhavo
मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते
matta sarvam pravartate
इति मत्वा भजन्ते माम्
iti matva bhajante mam
भाव समन्विताः
buddha bhava samanvita.
अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवो
Aham sarvasya prabhavo
मत्तः सर्वं
matta sarvam
प्रवर्तते
pravartate
इति मत्वा भजन्ते माम्
iti matva bhajante mam
भाव समन्विताः
buddha bhava samanvita.
अहम सर्वस्य प्रभवो
Aham sarvasya prabhavo
मतः सर्वः प्रवर्तते
matta sarvam pravartate
इति मत्वा भजन्ते माम्
iti matva bhajante mam
बुधा भावस्य मन मन मनवितः
buddha bhava samanvita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Mataji?
Aham sarvasya prabhavo
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo
Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. So very very important shloka. इसलिए सब repeat कराया so that you remember. So let's see the translation. Anyone can read the translation? Who would like to read?
Harry?
Yeah.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Yes. So I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, right? I am the source of everything. Matta sarvam pravartate, right? Everything emanates from me. So first line Krishna is saying, I am the source of everything. Next line he is saying, everything emanates from me. Isn't it the same thing? Why do you think he is repeating?
Generations to generations.
It is from generation to generation, as in
Of generation. 1 second, just a moment.
okay. In the translation,
It's like the first verse itself, like Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo means I am the source of all the spiritual and material world. And from generations to generations is the only
Okay.
का शायद ये है हो सकता है कि जब वो कहते हैं कि प्रत्येक वस्तु मुझसे ही उत्पन्न होती है,
हाँ
then people perceive भौतिक वस्तु,
हाँ
then he says मैं समस्त अहम सर्वस्व प्रभो, मैं समस्त आध्यात्मिक और भौतिक जगतों का कारण हूँ.
हाँ.
यहाँ पर he talks about भौतिक and as well as आध्यात्मिक. So he covers both the things, not only
Okay.
भौतिक what people see.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this? Why he repeats twice?
There is nothing in existence that is not out of knowledge.
Okay.
Doing the same thing. Like,
Okay. So aham sarvasya prabhavo, right? I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds, both, right? So यहाँ पे भगवान ने establish कर दिया कि सब कुछ मेरे से ही आ रहा है. I am the source. Matta sarvam pravartate. Now this pravartate word has a very interesting meaning. यहाँ पे Prabhupada translates emanates, right? And it also means that everything is maintained by the Lord. So he's not just the creator, he's not just the source of all creation, but at the same time he's maintaining it also, right? So there is I forgot the word. There is theism. Theism means Hare Krishna. What is theism? What is atheism? ये पता होगा. हाँ, नास्तिक. So theism क्या हुआ?
Believe करेगा.
One who understands and believes in God, right? That's theist or theism. And then there is atheism. And then there is one in between. I think it's called, no, it's called deism or something. I forgot the exact word. So theism, understand that, yes, God is the supreme source of everything. Everything emanates from the Lord and he maintains everything. Atheist doesn't believe in God. And वो जो बीच वाला है, he thinks, yes, God has created everything, but he cannot maintain it. मतलब बना के छोड़ दिया है. Just like, say for example, a person may, a watchmaker may create a nice watch. Right? बड़ा सा clock बना दिया उसने. But he is not the one maintaining the clock. Somebody who's bought the watch, वो घर में जाता है, बैटरी चेंज करता है, उसको साफ करता है. He's not maintaining. He has no role in, continuing the running of that watch. So बना तो दिया. He is intelligent enough to create it, but not to maintain it. Like that. So there is a class of men who think like that God has created, बना दिया लेकिन अभी कैसे चलाना है पता नहीं भगवान को. Like that. So that's the, I think, deism or something usko word hai. If you're googling, let me know. Okay. So therefore Krishna is emphasizing here that yes, not just that I am source of everything is emanating from me and it's maintained within those emanations, like that. The wise who perfectly knows this engages in my devotional service. So if you see, what is the result of spiritual knowledge?
Improvement in bhakti.
Yeah.
Improvement in bhakti.
Bhakti, right? Spiritual knowledge automatically leads to devotion, right? Understanding that yes, Krishna is the supreme, he's the source of everything, he's the one who's maintaining everything. One who knows this correctly automatically भगवान की महानता समझ करके engages in his devotional service, right? So अगर हम नहीं जुड़े हैं तो हमें समझना चाहिए कि भाई intellectually we know थोड़ा बहुत लेकिन practically we have not really engaged in Krishna's service yet, right? And those who know this perfectly well engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts, right? So यहाँ पे अगर हम देखेंगे, so iti matva bhajante maam buddha bhava samanvita. So bhajante and buddha bhav, right? So bhajante is Krishna, one who understands that Krishna is the supreme. He gets devotion, and at the same time he also gets intelligence or knowledge, right? So ये जो 4 श्लोक है, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? So 8 is like a summary of the other 3 also, right? It is basically describing how there is Krishna, who is the absolute personality of God, supreme personality of Godhead, right? And knowing that, one should engage in devotional service with intelligence, right? So one who understands the science of Krishna consciousness and engages in his devotion service. So this is the complete science, right? इसमें अगर आप देखेंगे from another lens, there are everything in the scriptures can be divided into three things: sambandh, abhideya, and prayojan. Right? So sambandh means what is my relationship to the Supreme, or what is my relationship with God. So यहाँ पे he is saying I am the source of everything, right? I am the Supreme Personality of God, right? Everything is coming from me, even you are coming from. इसके पहले भी बोल चुके सारे मनु मेरे से आए, right? सारे प्रजापति मेरे से आए, right? So he is our source, right? We are part and parcel of God. So that way relationship knowledge is established, sambandh gyan, right? Then abhideya gyan, right? Matta sarvam pravartate, everything, okay. One who knows this perfectly well engages in mind. So यहाँ पर कि क्या करना है, engage in devotional service, वो भी बताया है, right? And yeah, those who know this worship me, right? Practically क्या करना है, समझ में आ गया, भगवान है, practically क्या करना है, worship me, right? वो भी आ गया. And बुधा भाव समन्वित. One who worships him like that ultimately reaches the end, which is the prayojan, which is ultimately going back and back to God. So this particular sloka actually encompasses all the three aspects, right? And इसके बाद वाले जो श्लोक है, like I think the very next one, मच्चित्ता मद्गता प्राणा बोधयन्ता परस्परम, we discuss that also. So वहां पर भगवान बता रहे हैं कि ठीक है, ये establish कर लिया कि he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Now how do the devotees act, right? भक्ति कैसे करनी है? That is Machchitta Madgata Prana, discussion on how devotees are behaving, how they are talking to each other, discussing Hari Katha like that. And उसके आगे भगवान अपना I think 10th shloka is Sir Tesham Satati Yuktana, right? So भगवान ने भक्ति के बारे में 9th श्लोक में बता दिया, and 10th and 11th shloka he is talking about how he gives the intelligence. नौवें में भक्ति आ गया, भक्ति के साथ साथ सेंटिमेंटल नहीं होना चाहिए खाली, राइट? इट्स नॉट अ सेंटिमेंटल थिंग कि हमने अरे मैं तो भक्ति कर रहा हूँ विदाउट एनी नॉलेज. सो जस्ट लाइक चैतन्य महाप्रभु जब वो आई थिंक व्हिच प्लेस, काशी, वेयर वाज हिज प्रकाशन इन सरस्वती, बनारस, यस. सो व्हेन ही वाज इन बनारस, सो एक मायावादी सन्यासी थे प्रकाशानंद सरस्वती. तो हरे कृष्ण, हाँ, उनके साथ एक डिस्कशन हुआ. सो देयर वाज महाप्रभु के दो पार्षद, आई थिंक यू रिमेंबर द नेम्स, तपन मिश्रा एंड द ब्राह्मण चंद्रशेखर आचार्य, नहीं, ओके. सो एनीवेज तपन मिश्रा वाज देयर. सो ये दो जो भक्त है, महाप्रभु जो बनारस गए थे, so they were kind of arranging everything for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For you, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna 500 years ago appeared in the place called Navdeep or Mayapur, and that's in the region of Bengal, Orissa, like that. Bengal mein hai, but he would go to Orissa, Bengal, different places. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also traveled the entire India to spread the holy name of the Lord, right? So he came as although he is Krishna himself, he came as a devotee of Krishna, right? In the garb of devotee. Right? So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he says, surrender unto me, right? Sarva dharman pratija maham ekam sharanam vraja. But how to surrender, he had not shown practically. So he comes again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to practically show to the world this is how you surrender. In the form of a devotee he came to teach. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, वो बनारस में है, and on the request of Tapan Mishra and the other devotee, I think Chandrasekhar Acharya or maybe some other Brahmana, he goes to this sabha of Prakashanand Saraswati, right? So they had invited कि अरे आप क्यों खाली सड़कों पे नाच गा रहे हैं, आइए हमारे साथ वेदांत चर्चा करते हैं, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu उस सभा में he goes and he sits next to the वो जहाँ पे सब चप्पल उतार करके पैर धोते हैं, वहां पे बाजू में जाके बैठ जाते हैं. एंड वहां पे सारे मायावादी सन्यासी, मायावाद is basically people who think Maya is bigger than Krishna or bigger than God, right? Therefore, it's called Mayavad. They don't believe in the personal form of the Lord. On top of it, they believe that Lord is impersonal. At the same time, we are also Lord, right? अभी हम एक भौतिक एक्सपीरियंस ले रहे हैं. जब ये शरीर छूट जाएगा तो we'll merge into the existence of the Param Brahman, become Para Brahman, like that. So we never become God, but they think we are God, and right now we are under the control of Maya because of this body. So ultimately, what they're saying is Maya is higher than God Himself because it can control, right? So therefore, Mayavad. So all these Mayavadi sannyasis are sitting, on high throne and discussing Vedanta, and they see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. अरे, वो आए हैं पैर धोए और वहीं पे बैठ गए. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he then increased his glow, right? So anyways, Prakash Anand, जो प्रकाश में आनंद ले तो थोड़ा प्रकाश दिखा दिया. So everybody was attracted कि अरे ये कौन से personality है इतने shining. So Prakashanand Saraswati was the head of all the Mayavadi sannyasis. There were 60,000 of them, right? He was the head of all those 60,000 Mayavadi sannyasis, or 10,000. What's the number? I think 60,000. Or was it Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, head of 60,000? Okay, one of them. So he came and he invited Mahaprabhu. अरे आप यहाँ पे क्यों बैठे हैं? ये तो पैर धोने की जगह है, आप आइए. And he takes him by the hand and makes him sit on a nice seat, and then they have a discussion. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one by one, very sweetly, बहुत प्यार से, it's like an iron fist covered with a velvet. उस तरह से वो arguments देते हैं and completely knocks them off. And not that कि अरे हमको defeat कर लिया, ये क्या है, they will be angry. They are like won over by the humility of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his sweetness and his logic. All three of them together. So like that, they accept that yes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a person, he is not impersonal, and they surrender to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like that. So a devotee is not just supposed to, be sentimentally attached to the Lord, but he actually needs knowledge, right? Therefore, Prabhupada wrote so many books, volumes of books, so that we understand and intellectually also, can accept, logically accept and explain it to others. Like that. So, therefore, it's not just mere sentiments, it's with intelligence.
If somebody is sentimentally getting corrected, then
Huh?
if somebody is getting corrected sentimentally,
So, it is their duty,
using intelligence.
that's okay, it's their duty to then, get that knowledge. There are people. Sorry.
There are many people who doesn't know anything, but still.
So see, the beauty of path of bhakti, if they are connected in the right place, they will eventually get knowledge.
10th verse.
10th verse. Right? And if someone is still not able to, understand, so Krishna from within the heart will inspire and provide that intelligence and knowledge. We'll come to that shloka.
Mercy will come.
Mercy will come and one will know what is right, what is wrong, what is to be done, what is not to be done. What is the personality of Krishna, how he interacts, how he behaves, etc. Like that. Yes.
Somebody says this, right? That philosophy without religion is like speculation.
Correct. Prabhupada says that. Philosophy without religion.
Yeah, religion without philosophy is like speculation, but philosophy
Without religion is mental speculation. Yes. Right. So that is also interchangeable with science. Yeah. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was a scholar, right? Actually, in his childhood, he was famous as Nimai Pandit. जो सब लोग घबराते थे महाप्रभु के आर्गुमेंट से सब लोग घबराते थे. He was so sharp. He would he'll explain the सिद्धांत इस तरह से एक्सप्लेन करेंगे कि सामने वाला को कुछ और होगा तो वो पूरा ऐसा नष्ट हो जाएगा पूरी तरह से. Then he will counteract his own philosophy for argument's sake. कि नहीं अरे तुमने तो अभी तुम मानते हो, बोला हाँ मानता हूँ, ठीक है अभी मैं तुमको उल्टा बताता हूँ. And वो उल्टा इतना अच्छा आर्गुमेंट देते कि now he is convinced. कि जो पहले बोला था वो सही नहीं था.
Thank you.
Right? He debates on his own philosophy. And then such a powerful debate that the guy is like, yes, this is right. अरे तो अभी नहीं समझे, जो पहले बोला था वही सही था. And then he argues again and smashes these debates again. Like that. So he was extremely intelligent. Right? Of course, he's the Supreme Personality of God, but devotees are also supposed to be very, very intelligent. Right? Krishna Bhakta hi bada chatur. Right? So they are not supposed to disturb, somebody who's unfavorable just like that. कि अरे नहीं नहीं चलो आओ पकड़ो, जब करो. No, we understand the situation of the person, what level he is, where he stands, what will be digestible to him, what will be not digestible to him, and basis that we give the medicine, right? So I think we've gone through those shlokas where a devotee, doesn't disturb somebody who's not inclined, but very intelligently engages them somehow or the other in service of the Lord. So उससे उसको सुकृति मिलता है. केवल प्रसाद खिलाने से भी सुकृति मिल जाता है, right? And then they can slowly, steadily come towards Krishna. So यहाँ पर, I think if you read the translation, Prabhupada, he labors very, very hard, quoting different shlokas, establishing how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, right? How everyone, even Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma is the creator, how he is coming from Krishna, right? And subsequently Lord Shiva and even the Rudras, like there is a shloka, right? Where is it? नारायणात् ब्रह्म जायते, नारायणात् ब्रह्मा जायते, नारायणात् प्रजापति जायते, नारायणात् इंद्रो जायते, नारायणात् अस्तु वासवो जायते, नारायणात् एकादश रुद्र जायते, नारायणात् द्वादश आदित्य. So like that he goes on to describe that how from Narayan all these emanations are coming, all these personalities are coming. The 12 Adityas, the Rudras, Indra himself, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, all of them are coming from. Yes, he is the source of everyone. And he goes on to say that it is said in the same Vedas, Brahmanyo Devaki Putra, son of Devaki, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then it said, Eko Vai Narayana Asin Na Brahma Neshanu Napo Nagni Somao. Wow, okay, it's quite long. In the beginning of the creation, there was only Supreme Personality Narayan. There was no Brahma, no Shiva, no water, no fire, no moon, no heaven, no earth, no stars in the sky, no sun. Right? So, like that, he goes on to quote multiple verses establishing how Narayan or Krishna is the source of everything. So I was sorry from a different reference. I was hearing again in some classes on Brihad Bhagavatam yesterday. So the devotee was explaining, he mentions how Sanatan Goswami, who's the author of Brihad Bhagavatam, he starts from the point where he kind of assumes that the reader already understands Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and talks further. Ki ab kya? Okay, what does Krishna do? Right? What are his qualities, etc. Again. And he leaves the work of establishing, the supremacy of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead to his younger brother Rup Goswami, who wrote Laghu Bhagavatamrita, where he gives thousands of references of how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? So Brihad Bhagavatam starts beyond the point of Laghu Bhagavatamrita, right? Where it's already established Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, Prabhu, you want to add something to this? Mazaji?
No, it's very good.
Oh, acha. So switch off and maybe एक fan चालू कर सकता है, otherwise it'll be. Are you able to follow or it's going?
We'll see.
So, so the intelligent person, he understands that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the supreme controller, and everything is coming from him. He's maintaining everything, right? And Prabhupada writes, only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man, right? So we should avoid all unauthorized commentaries which indicate or suggest that Krishna is an ordinary person. Okay, we'll go to the next one.
ठीक है प्रभु जी,
हाँ,
कौन से पुराण में लिखा हुआ है कि मतलब जस्ट समझना चाह रहा था कि ये जो शिव है
हाँ,
ये इनसे उत्पन्न हुए हैं, कृष्ण से, क्योंकि कई जगहों पे लोग कहते हैं कि शिव जो है वही मतलब विष्णु है, कई जगह ये भी क्लेम करते हैं। जस्ट वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड।
सो शिव जी जो है वो विष्णु है भी और नहीं भी।
तो महाविष्णु समथिंग जो बोलते हैं
वो he is not a Vishnu Tattva, he is not a Jiva Tattva, he is somewhere in between. Very different and unique personality. तो वो ना ही जीवात्मा है हमारी तरह, ना वो विष्णु तत्व है। और उनका एक्सप्लेनेशन अभी देने जाएंगे तो बहुत लंबा टाइम निकल जाएगा, बट शॉर्ट में ये है कि जैसे ब्रह्म संहिता में एक श्लोक आता है, उससे समझने का ट्राई करेंगे। क्षीरम ददा विकार विशेष योगा संजायते न तथा पृथक अस्ति हेतो यह शंभुतामपि तथा समुपैति कार्यात् गोविंदमादि पुरुषम तमहम भजामि। तो एग्जाम्पल दिया जाता है कि जिस तरह से दही जो है वो दूध में से आता है, राइट? सो एक तरह से हम बोल सकते हैं कि दही का सोर्स क्या है, और दही, लेकिन दही से हम दूध बना सकते हैं, दूध से और दही निकल सकता है दही से दूध नहीं निकल सकता है, राइट? तो हालांकि दोनों दूध के ही ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन है, राइट, बट दोनों अलग है, राइट? सो शिव जी जो है वो दही की तरह है और जो विष्णु है वो दूध की तरह है, लाइक दैट। सो हालांकि शिव जी विष्णु जी से ही आए हैं, लेकिन वो विष्णु से अलग भी है, सेम भी है। सेम बिकॉज द सोर्स इज द मिल्क, राइट, और विष्णु, बट ही इज नॉट विष्णु बिकॉज द नेचर इज कंप्लीटली ऑपोजिट। अगर आप ज्यादा दूध कंज्यूम कर लोगे तो आपको इनडाइजेशन हो सकता है, फिर उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा, दही खाना पड़ेगा तो दोनों का काम थोड़ा अलग है, राइट? देखा जाए तो थोड़ा ऑपोजिट तरीके का काम है, राइट? सो हालांकि बहुत सारी जगहों पे अगर आप देखेंगे, सो व्हेन यू अगेन इंफॉर्मेशन बियॉन्ड द स्कोप ऑफ दिस बुक सो जब भौतिक जगत से थोड़ा पार जाएंगे, आध्यात्मिक जगत और भौतिक जगत के बीच में है महेश धाम। महेश धाम आधा वैकुंठ लोकों में है, आधा भौतिक जगत में है। और कहा जाता है कि जो जीवात्मा जो भगवान के स्वरूप को नहीं मानते, राइट, दे बिलीव इन इम्पर्सनल फीचर ऑफ द लॉर्ड, या जो मायावादी है वो, अगर वो बहुत ऐसा पूरा जिंदगी भर दे अवॉइडेड sinful activities, they've like followed to the T Ashtanga Yoga and all of those things, then they go to Mahesh Dham। जो शिव जी को विष्णु मान करके उनकी पूजा करते हैं, वो शिवलोक इन द वैकुंठा रह सकते हैं। जो पार्ट भौतिक जगत में है वो मायावादी सन्यासी के लिए रिजर्व्ड है और वहां पे उनको ट्रेनिंग दिया जाता है भक्त बनाने के लिए, अगर नहीं बनते तो नीचे फिर से गिर जाते हैं। एक्स्ट्रा इंफॉर्मेशन one who worships Lord Shiva as Vishnu, one who considers Shiva as Vishnu, and knowing that because at the end of the day वो शिव जी के रूपांतर की तरह से आप बोल सकते हैं, लेकिन विष्णु भी नहीं है, सॉरी विष्णु के एक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ही है, बट विष्णु नहीं है, राइट? बट जो उनको विष्णु की तरह मान करके पूजा करता है तो वो उनके धाम को प्राप्त होता है, लेकिन आध्यात्मिक जगत में, स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में, राइट, वैकुंठ लोकों में, जो महेश धाम जो पार्ट वैकुंठ लोकों में है, वहां पे उनको स्थान मिलता है, ऐसा।
Shiv ji also has eternal associates. So
yes.
So those who follow Shiv, they can become their
correct in the Vaikuntha, or in the part which is there in Vaikuntha, Mahesh Dham, which is like not in the material world but in the
Where is this Maheshna? Is it like below Vaikuntha or like above Vaikuntha?
In between. Brahma Jyoti, right? So
Between
when you pierce the coverings of the universe, right? After all those subtle layers, when you cross, then you enter Mahesh Dham.
and then, so after Brahmajyoti, then Maheshna, and then Vaikuntha.
Everything is in Brahma Jyoti. There is no like ये layer है Brahma Jyoti का. Brahma Jyoti में ही सब कुछ है. Right? It's like
We have like this, like the map, right?
हाँ, हाँ.
There we have a beautiful place.
Correct. But so okay, you can consider that beyond the coverings of the universe, there is still some space where Brahma Jyoti obviously exists everywhere, right? And then a little further is Mahesh Dham. You should actually discuss that map one day. You should make it.
Last time I saw that in that
We
Wall
Chart.
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 in that chart, this Mahesh Dham, above that there is Vaikuntha.
Correct. Vaikuntha ऊपर ही है.
Vaikuntha is just above
Correct.
the
महेश धाम में
नहीं ये वही महेश धाम है. तो अभी भौतिक जगत के पार जाएंगे तो सीधा ब्रह्म ज्योति में सब कुछ है, राइट? सो स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड बिगिंस लिटरली फ्रॉम देयर. तो उसको भी वैकुंठ बोल सकते हैं, लेकिन कुछ जो हिस्सा है दैट इज स्टिल यू फॉल बैक.
There is fall, no? From Brahmajyoti.
That was all. You only fall when you get like tired of that place.
No, so those who are Mayavadis, they fall back.
There's no activity there.
Yeah.
All the time.
Those who are Mayavadis, they fall back. Those who so वहां पे भी इसी हमको है ना जो इंफॉर्मेशन है फिलहाल वो मतलब वो ऐसा ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट इंफॉर्मेशन हमने थोड़ा सा पढ़ा हुआ है. ग्रे एरिया में बहुत कुछ है. थोड़ा और डिटेल में भागवतम पढ़ेंगे या बृहद भागवतम पढ़ेंगे तो थोड़ा इन बिटवीन जो डिटेल्स है वो उसमें और मेंशन्ड है. सो those who are Mayavadis, they fall back. Those who are Brahmavadis, they are given an opportunity to stay in some of the Vaikuntha planets. They don't fall back. They don't fall back. And in fact वहां पे भी वो और प्रगति कर सकते हैं आगे जाकर के, because they hear constantly. वहां पे चल ही रहा है ना, कथा तो चल रहा है. लाइब्रेरी में है. करेक्ट. Okay, let's come back here. मच्चित्ता मद्गता प्राणा बोधयन्ता परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. मच्चित्ता मद्गता प्राणा बोधयन्ता परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च. Very important shloka, not repeating because of time constraint, but please memorize this. One of my favorite shlokas as well. So translation, someone would like to read?
The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Okay, very interesting. Hare Krishna. Sorry. Okay, so Prabhupada is actually writing this translation so poetically in the beginning, right? So mat chitta mad gata prana, right? So mat chitta is chitta means mind. So mat chitta मतलब क्या? जो someone who remembers me, right? Someone whose mind is. But यहाँ पे Prabhupada writes, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, right? So interestingly, he writes this, right? The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. What do you mean by dwell?
constantly thinking about it.
Emanates.
हाँ, रहते हैं, right? Dwelling place, right? So what is our dwelling place? Our homes, right? That is where we feel comfortable, we rest, right? We always come back. कहीं पे भी जाए, right? We are always coming back to our dwelling place, right? So the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, right? Which means that कि immediately अगर कुछ होगा ठीक है कर लेंगे, लेकिन what is the default position? Where do I dwell back for a devotee?
Krishna.
A devotee, his thoughts are dwelling in Krishna. कि अगर तुरंत कुछ ट्रांजैक्शन के लिए कहीं कुछ थोड़ा करना पड़ा ठीक है, लेकिन he'll default back to thinking about Krishna. Right? That's a devotee. What do we default back to? Right? हम तो थोड़ा एफर्ट लेके कभी भगवान को याद कर लेते हैं, लेकिन हमारा डिफॉल्ट कुछ और हो जाता है. That's not our default, right? That's not our dwelling place. That's not our home. That's not our inner home. Our inner home is money, maybe some other comforts, maybe some entertainment, right? So when our inner home becomes Krishna, our thoughts dwell in Krishna, then we can call ourselves devotee. So thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service. Right? भगवान बता रहे हैं कि कैसे डिवोशनल सर्विस करना है, उनका चेतना पूरा भगवान में है, right? And they're fully engaged in devotional service, practically engaged, right? So when we are talking about knowledge or intelligence, हमने जो previous श्लोक में थोड़ा डिस्कस किया, आगे भी करेंगे, the devotee needs to be intelligence, or even this whole act of discussion of Bhagavad Gita या श्रीमद् भागवतम, it's not just for hearing. कि सुन लिया, थोड़ा इंटेलेक्चुअली ऑब्जर्व कर, अच्छा कृष्णा ऐसे हैं वैसे हैं, ठीक है. इट्स लाइक प्लेसिंग आवरसेल्व्स ऑन एन ऑल्टर हायर देन कृष्णा एंड ऑब्जर्विंग कि हाँ चलो ठीक है, कृष्णा ये इंफॉर्मेशन ले लिया, भगवान ऐसे, भगवान ऐसे, राइट. दिस नॉलेज नॉट मेंट फॉर जस्ट एक्टिंग लाइक एन ऑनलुकर कि हाँ चलो ये इंफॉर्मेशन है, ठीक है. द नॉलेज इज मेंट फॉर practical application, which is practical devotional service, right? So this shloka actually destroys the arguments of Mayavadis also very, very powerfully. They have no answer to this. Right? Krishna is so clearly saying, right, their lives are fully devoted into my service and they derive great satisfaction and bliss. So यहाँ पे क्या बात कर लिया, यहाँ पे ये श्लोक talks about abhideya and prayojan. Abhideya means I am related to Krishna, so what am I supposed to do? You're supposed to, think about Krishna. You are fully devoted in his service, and then prayojan. What is the result? Derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about him. Right. So this is also one of the angas of bhakti, discussing about the Lord. Right. So I was hearing a class yesterday. And when Mataji asked a question to the devotee who was giving the class, she asked, so there was a statement that one should hear enough, right? One should do enough hearing. So Mataji ne pucha ki ye, how do we decide what is enough hearing? What is enough hearing? तब हम वो बोल सके कि हाँ मेरा श्रवण ठीक है. Right? So what is the answer?
Actually, yesterday I was just hearing this thing. So we were talking about that Raja जो some यज्ञ करवाता है,
परीक्षित महाराज, अच्छा.
नहीं, तो वो इंद्र भगवान उनका कुछ घोड़ा वोड़ा लेके चले जाते हैं.
हाँ,
कृष्ण
okay.
भगवान जो उनको आके वो समझाते हैं, कौन सी चिंता
इंद्र तो बहुत बार घोड़ा ले गए.
समथिंग हाँ सब निन्यान में हुआ रहता है, तो
हाँ.
उसमें उनका प्रेयर है.
बलि महाराज, हाँ.
तो उनके प्रेयर में वो बताते हैं कि
बलि महाराज 99 पृथु महाराज, हाँ पृथु महाराज, करेक्ट, पृथु महाराज, हाँ.
तो कि कैसे भक्ति की जाती है उसको
हाँ.
भी बता रहे थे.
हाँ,
ये बोलते हैं कि मुझे कितने 10,000 कुछ कान दीजिए, समझो.
हाँ, करेक्ट, करेक्ट.
मींस कि जितना सुने उतना कम.
हाँ. सो एक तो ये आंसर हो गया, जितना सुने उतना कम है. वेरी नाइस आंसर. यस. व्हाट इज द अदर आंसर?
Maybe our thoughts don't dwell near Krishna.
Excellent. Yes. So whatever is enough for us to be motivated in Krishna consciousness every day. So होता क्या है, हम संडे को आते हैं, थोड़ा सुनते हैं, इंस्पायर्ड, अरे चलो अच्छे से करेंगे. राइट. थोड़ा बहुत करते हैं, एक दिन, 1.5 दिन, 2 दिन, फिर fizzle out. Right. So we should check ourselves if my inspiration is going down, like अगर हमने कोई एक जपा सेमिनार सुन लिया और कि यार प्रभु जी ने बोला एकदम ऐसा कुछ नहीं करना है, सिर्फ जप करना है जप के समय, तो उस टाइम पे वो 1-2 दिन एकदम अच्छे से कुछ नहीं करेंगे, सिर्फ जप करेंगे, फिर तीसरे चौथे दिन थोड़ा कुछ और कर लेंगे, पांचवें दिन वो दूसरा कुछ करते करते ही जब हो रहा है, राइट? तो ऐसा चलता है. सो टिल द टाइम वी कैन मेंटेन आवर इंस्पिरेशन, right, on a daily basis to practice very nicely, that's another definition of enough hearing, right? We should hear enough so that we are inspired enough to continue, at least with some standard. Right, jo bhi hai. So that's one, and of course the other end is, as much as we hear, it's limitless.
Is it possible Krishna में interest है but Hare Krishna महामंत्र में interest है? Why?
Yeah. So
It's very कम देर से अब पूरा time दिमाग में है कृष्णा but Hare chanting
very
or
often people say that चलते फिरते I keep taking name but मैं counting नहीं करता बस.
they don't like to hear that is
अल्लाह सर्विस. हाँ, अभी वो एक बॉन्डेज हो गया. अभी मेरे ऊपर एक रहता था, the person he used to chant for 20 rounds. He told me that I regularly do 20 rounds.
ये सब का आंसर है ना अगले श्लोक में आएगा, बट बोलो.
So one day I also started 16 rounds.
हाँ.
तो उसका डिस्कशन मेरे साथ हुआ.
हाँ.
तो उन्होंने बोला कि मैंने तो अभी नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं 20 rounds. मैं बोला why, what happened? बोला नहीं, 20 rounds करने का मतलब मैं अभी चलते फिरते ही ले लेता हूँ नाम. I'm not keeping a count. मैं ऐसे ही जा रहा हूँ, but I'm doing. तो मैंने बोला क्यों कर रहे थे तो अच्छा खासा इतने सालों से कर रहे थे, why you have stopped? नहीं बस अभी बस हो गया कि चलते फिरते ले लेता हूँ तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है.
Okay, so एक सेकेंड.
So Prabhu, to add on,
हाँ.
I think the question should be framed in such a way that you like doing other services, but there's no taste in chanting. Not like don't do it, but like that taste doesn't come. So why?
Yes. So you're helping me to jump to the 11th shloka directly. Right? So tesham evanukampartham. As question, you only asked the question, let me answer it. हाँ.
You have the answer. No, I don't have the answer.
हाँ.
He was so tired once, and then someone asked him, Maharaj, you take rest. Because he started chanting, he was so tired.
हाँ.
And then servant said, you take rest, Maharaj, why are you chanting?
Then he said, this is my rest.
He said, this is my rest. But
This-
then my
This is dwelling in thoughts of Krishna. Right?
when my rounds get over, that's the time I you know, like some guy didn't put on chanting bag, right? So I saw one guy who said that after my 16 rounds, I don't know where my chanting bag is.
Okay, let's hear the answer. Let's hear the answer, right? So we are skipping or we are jumping, 9th and 10th. We are going to 11th because of this question. It's connected. So, tesham evanukampartham aham ajnana jamatamaha nashyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashita. So, like I was describing in the beginning, right, the chronology of these 4 verses. So, the 9th shloka, right, talks about how the devotee gets devotion, right, and then 10th and 11th talks about how he also gets intelligence, right. So this intelligence is born from devotion only, right. भक्ति करने से ही वो ज्ञान भी उत्पत्ति होती है और यहाँ हम एफर्ट भी लेते हैं जब हमें समझ में आता है the position of the Lord. So a lot of sometimes what happens is even after having all the facilities, having a bona fide spiritual master, being connected to a spiritual organization, still, right, out of gross ignorance and foolishness, we are not able to take much benefit of that. And but the Lord is all merciful. So in the 11th and the 10th shloka, he is saying, I give that knowledge. And the 11th, he is explaining how I give that knowledge. Right? So tesham evanukampartham, showing special mercy, right? Showing special mercy, he jnana deepena bhashata. In the end, he says, right? What is that? to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance.
One word is there, I think, Chat Guru, something like
that is Paramatma. So, अभी ऐसा नहीं है कि यहाँ पे अंदर कुछ परमात्मा तो है, बट ऐसा भी नहीं है कि कुछ डार्कनेस नहीं है, राइट? कि अरे ये तो मेरे मन से इच्छा ही है तो मतलब एकदम सुप्रीम होनी चाहिए, राइट? मेरा मन को लगा कि नहीं, जब बहुत हो गया, मन नहीं चल रहा है, चलने दो, दैट इज द हाईएस्ट, राइट? दीज काइंड ऑफ थॉट्स विल कम. Doesn't mean they're bona fide, doesn't mean they're absolute, doesn't mean they're inspired by Krishna, because apart from Paramatma dwelling in the heart, there's a lot of darkness, right? The soul is Satchidananda, but it's covered by the mind, which has, trillions of impressions of all the activities, good, bad, ugly, that we've done, right? So अंदर से सब अच्छा ही निकलेगा जरूरी नहीं है. हमने गार्बेज लिया भी अंदर तो गार्बेज भी बाहर आ सकता है. सो ऐसे बहुत सारे थॉट्स आएंगे कि अरे मन नहीं कर रहा है, अरे ये नहीं वो नहीं, राइट? सो व्हाट डज कृष्णा डू हियर? ही सेज टेकिंग मर्सी, एंड की स्पेशल केस है भाई ये, तो मर्सी लेकर के व्हाट ही डज, ज्ञान दीप अंदर एक ऐसा दीप जला देते हैं कि भाई देखो आसपास में, राइट? he lights and he makes things illuminated, he lights it up and he makes it right also, gives us the right understanding. Through that light we understand कि अरे what I'm doing is rubbish. ये सारे जो thoughts है, they are actually taking me away from Krishna. Not that Krishna चलो चलो ठीक है भगवत धाम, light चालू किया भगवत धाम, नहीं. With that light you then understand कि oh, I need to chant. Then you take it as your life and soul. So ये न कहते प्रकार है ना, इधर डू इट बाय योरसेल्फ, या तो भगवान जब बत्ती जलाएंगे तब करो, लेकिन करना तो है, राइट?
करके छोड़ देते हैं.
हाँ,
so doing it, they just stop and then they are totally off track. Is it possible?
Possible है क्योंकि trying to become Krishna consciousness is like a revolt against Maya.
Yes, I agree.
Right? So Maya becomes more vigilant. अरे ये तो उठ रहा है, इसको सुलाओ कैसे, तो 4 इंजेक्शन और मारो, right? So Maya works, double time, 2 shifts on you.
प्रभु जी, then कृष्णा का मर्सी तो आना चाहिए ना फिर, क्योंकि
आता है ना,
क्योंकि अगर वो इतना एंड्योरेंस ले रहे हैं कि माया कर रहा है, जाप कर रहा है, सब कर रहा है, और फिर भी माया हावी हो रही है उसके ऊपर, तो फिर समवेयर तो कृष्ण शुड कम इन बिटवीन एंड स्टॉप ना माया. आते कि नहीं आते? He comes, definitely. तो फिर
मैं वो off track जा रही थी. Today she called me, let's go for class. I think he comes.
He comes
in the form of a devotee. Yeah. He comes in the form of some remembrance. Suddenly you read something, कुछ और ही होगा, किसी ने advertisement भी डाला होगा, but you will be able to understand it. तो he will remind you of Krishna. Yes.
What is come across something on social media and I'm like, oh.
But आपने जो टाइम इतना वेस्ट किया ना, जो टाइम आपने छोड़ा इतना वेस्ट किया होने.
बट बट उसमें क्या होता है, you should not leave, therefore you should be vigilant, right? Because a lot of time gets wasted. But at the same time, जो गिर के उठता है वो मिस्टेक वापस नहीं करता है.
I was chanting for 5 years and I had just reached 16 now, और मैं ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में उठ के chant करती थी, सब आंख बंद करके करती थी. But there were doubts. There were really some good amount of doubts. And actually then I gave up chanting completely for 4 years.
Okay.
And in those 4 years, जो भी वो doubts थे, कृष्णा ने कितना
experience
ऐसे clear किया ना वो सब. And then when my Guru Maharaj's mercy, like we just happened to meet, and then he asked me, "Are you chanting?" So I told him what all I'm doing. So he's like, "You need to chant from today." So I was like, "Okay, fine." And he blessed. And I immediately took my beads again, and जो फिर faith बढ़ा ना, that was, I mean,
कभी नहीं
It's
गए।
really different.
So हम जैसे स्कूल में जाते हैं,
नहीं छोड़ते, I don't think.
नहीं मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ कि ये नहीं छोड़ते हैं, बट देन जो लोग छोड़ देते हैं उनके ऊपर मर्सी होने के बाद भी लोग वो लोग वापस नहीं जा पाते ना।
हाँ, there are people who doesn't do that, who doesn't come back.
टाइम तो वेस्ट होता ही है,
Time waste नहीं होता।
रियलाइजेशन होता है।
Purification.
One hour 70.
Harinam is not cheap.
so
हाँ
okay, yes, all nice discussions.
That's one round. Yeah.
हाँ,
So at least even he is doing sitting down and he stops. Even I did.
हाँ,
Then what happened? Ki, okay. Then slowly I started again picking it up.
हाँ.
And once I started picking up, this time the faith was higher than the previous version. So that makes a difference. In terms of other practices also, when this person starts doing some devotional services also, things actually improves. One of my friends talks about MTTR, it's engineering company. Mean time to be there. So he used to say to me, don't focus on everything else. Just focus on even if you fall back, just see how fast you are recovering.
So जैसे हम स्कूल में जाते हैं सीखने के लिए, पढ़ाई करते हैं, राइट? जो स्कूल में बच्चा सीख लिया, some people they learn वहीं पर सब सारा स्कूलिंग बस टीचर से सुन करके पढ़ाई करके पास कर लेते हैं. Some others require something called as tuition, right? और कोई लोग को तो बहुत बड़ा फीस भरना पड़ता है, महंगा ट्यूशन, राइट? सो हमारा भी ऐसे ही सीन है, राइट? सो बहुत महंगा टीचर हम भी हायर करते हैं. व्हाट इज दैट मोस्ट एक्सपेंसिव टीचर? एक्सपीरियंस. एक्सपीरियंस बहुत महंगा टीचर है, राइट? तो जो सुन के समझ लेता है, he is most intelligent, right? Otherwise, if we wait कि अरे नहीं चलो देखेंगे क्या होता है, ये भी कर लेंगे वो भी कर लेंगे, तो भगवान बोलता ठीक है, टेस्ट सम और टेक सम एक्सपीरियंस. सो एक्सपीरियंस लेके घूम घाम करके फिर आते हैं पैसा. So experience is a very, very expensive teacher because we waste a lot of time, like you said. But yes, I mean, if we are able to, bounce back nicely, like you mentioned, it's worth it. Yes.
Just want to add, even when those 4 years I left, so many devotees would call me. They were concerned, are you chanting? Even my teacher, but every time I was just rejecting. But then जब अकल आई वापस, so I actually understand कि actually कृष्णा कितने दयालु है, कितना try किया भगवान ने, how much he tried.
Basically you did left your hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
and after meeting my spiritual master, when I came out of the room, one senior Mataji, she scolded me. She said, because of you don't know how busy and how unwell our Guru Maharaj is. He has to take the effort to tell you to chant. Now you better chant. So, Krishna has different ways too.
So, and we see from our limited perspective, हमको लगता है कि अरे ये तो lost हो गया या जो भी है. For every devotee, for everybody who even starts little bit, छोटा सा भी किसी ने भगवान का सेवा किया होगा ना, Krishna has an entire plan, right? Start to finish, कैसे उसको वापस लेके आना है, right? That plan may span across maybe some lifetimes for some people. So we may not be able to understand कि अरे ये तो चला गया, ये तो lost हो गया, वापस ही नहीं आया. नहीं, next lifetime है, उसका next lifetime है, he'll come back, right? And most people within the same lifetime itself realize and come back. There was this one disciple of Srila Prabhupada who, after Prabhupada's departure, had left. So everywhere he was trying to avoid devotees completely, right? इतना ऐसा डिसाइड कर लिया था कि ना भगवान के बारे में सोचना है, ना प्रसाद खाना है, ना हरे कृष्णा प्रभु. उसे डिसाइड कर लिया था कि I don't want to hear about Krishna. So there was this one Mataji who was going in a flight. Actually, मैंने suspense पहले reveal कर दिया. But one Mataji was going, two Mataji, in fact, two devotees were going in the flight, and they were, carrying some Mahaprasad. उनको बहुत सारा Mahaprasad, suddenly मिल गया था. They were traveling from some country to back to their own country, and वहां पे रिटर्न आते आते उनको सब लोग ने, हर एक डिवोटी ने थोड़ा थोड़ा करके इतना सारा प्रसाद दे दिया था कि हम लोगों को लगे क्या करें इतना सारा है. हम तो 2 लोग हैं, right? So they were sitting in the flight and they decided कि okay, let us distribute at least थोड़ा तो किसी को तो दे, right? So they gave to this devotee, previous devotee, this man, they gave. तो बोला नहीं चाहिए, एकदम सा rudely बोला नहीं, I don't want. Then after half an hour, somehow the other lady, she offered वापस, बोला नहीं चाहिए. फिर 15-20 मिनट बाद फिर से उन्हीं को ऑफर किया गया, बोला नहीं चाहिए. Then they went and gave it to the air hostess कि थोड़ा बहुत दूसरे जो लोग हैं उनको बांटो. The air hostess first came to this person. Then this man cried out. He literally cried. He's like, no matter how much I want to give up Krishna, he's coming back in some form or the other. And he came back. So yeah, Krishna has his own. He knows when to come. When you'll be completely convinced again. So yes.
Regarding the chanting, I also have go through a lot of ups and downs.
Every one of us.
Fortunately, since I am connected also with the books, I immediately go to perfect questions, perfect answers. And that I start reading right from the beginning. And then, get connected so much to Sri Prabhupada that wherever he has, butti, like we say, the bal butti.
Yes.
In that perfect question, perfect answers, you get that bal butti.
Yes. So that's what this 10.9 is talking about. That how Bodhayanta Parasparam, devotees, they inspire each other, and we are eternally being inspired by Prabhupada's books. He's labored so hard to preach to us through his books, right? So we have his books, we have other devotees, to talk to, and that's how devotees relish. And this is a very important shloka, emphasizing the importance of association of devotees, right? Bhakti is most relished in association of devotees, right? So, you want to add something to?
Where is reading and
Reading is Shravan only. Yeah, Shravan. Part of Shravan. Why? How? So yeah, previously everything was preserved orally, so it was only hearing. Then, yes, they wrote it down for Kali Yuga people. So reading in one sense, and we are reading Prabhupada's books. So Prabhupada is preaching to us. So in that sense, we are hearing Prabhupada. Anything else to go on this? Machita Madhgata Pranam.
You can speak on that together. Conversing. Rather the words. You always delight in that.
Yes. That's like a huge subject. So devotees definitely, delight and relish in, discussing about the Lord. How, two people, material people, when they come together, they have something to discuss, right? Some topic to discuss, hot topic, news, cricket, etc., etc. So devotees, their dwelling places, thoughts and discussions about the Lord. In fact, I was hearing this very nice statement by a devotee. He was saying that one who has done Shravan nicely, जिसने अच्छे से सुना है, he cannot stay without speaking. Cannot, right? वो कुछ ना कुछ करके कहीं ना कहीं से he'll have to share, right? So it is described that how beginning of Brihad Bhagavatam. I'm sorry, I'm getting again and again, but that's like going in my mind right now. So, beginning of Brihad Bhagavatam, right? So, Uttara, she comes running to Parikshit Maharaj. It's already 7 days, right? And Parikshit Maharaj is about to leave his body. 7 दिन हो गया है. He heard the entire Bhagavatam from Shukdev Goswami, and now he wants to actually be alone. It's described in those shlokas that how somebody who's about to die, typically they want to, be mauna, be quiet and be in solitude, try and focus their attention and mind on the personality of Godhead, like that. So, and then this devotee also gave the example of another devotee who was passing. He was leaving his body, and he told his relatives, "Please go, right? Don't be, not that unse घृणा था या कुछ था, love them, but he asked them to go away, not be in front of him, otherwise he'll be attached." So, like that, even Parikshit Maharaj wanted to be in solitude. He heard the entire Bhagavatam from Shukdev Goswami, and he was meditating, manan kar rahe the, jo suna, and he was completely in bliss and trance, and he wanted not to be disturbed. But then Mother Uttara comes running, and first of all, she's in anxiety. The son is about to leave his body. But then looking at the position कि किस तरह से Parikshit Maharaj बैठे एकदम fearless, without any anxiety, without anything, she is already pacified. And then on top of it, she asks, "Dear son, please tell me the essence of what you heard." Right? So, unko wo chinta nahi ki my son is going to die. Right? She's asking, "Please tell me the essence of what you heard." And then Parikshit Maharaj says, although at this time I would, love to be in solitude and, focus my mind, but your question is so sweet. Right? Your question is so sweet, and it's related to Krishna. Therefore, I am inspired and I cannot stop myself from speaking. And that's when he starts narrating Brihad Bhagavatam.
He's about to die, and then that time he starts narrating.
He's about that, so there is some time. Yes, our engineering minds we calculate. यार कितना समय होगा जिसमें Brihad Bhagavatam बोल दिया. लेकिन समय था, because there's a whole story how Takshak was supposed to come, but then there was I think Piplayan Muni or some Muni was there who actually knew how to extract the, मतलब कि सांप का जहर का तोड़ है उनके पास, तो किसी को कोई भी सर्प से किसी का मृत्यु होता है, you can make him alive. So that Muni was in that assembly. So Takshak was thinking कि जाऊं कि नहीं जाऊं, क्या होगा, मतलब मैं उनको काटूंगा, वो निकाल देगा, कोई फायदा ही नहीं है. So there's a whole story how he becomes an insect. He first of all approaches him as another Brahmana, talks to him, tries to negotiate कि भैया ऐसे जाओ आप, right? And then he's not pacified. So somehow or the other he gets all kinds of gifts from all over the universe and presents. Then sends him off, right? And then he situation देखने के लिए assumes the form of an insect. He's there in the leaf and he's seeing all of the events that are happening, and then when it's the right time, he again assumes the form of a snake bird and kills him like that. So yeah, I mean, बहुत सारा description है. Should we stop here? It's already 12:21. So 12:30 you have a class. 2:30, sorry. 2:30 the class. So we'll stop. We'll continue next time. The other two verses. Again, very interesting. Some bits we already touched. This is Chatur Shloki, so perhaps you will take the next class. Any questions? Any reflections?
Can you share us with
Which one?
Srila Prabhupada's sannyas disciple who went to South Asia side and then he left after Srila Prabhupada?
I don't remember.
Then he was ill.
No, he did not leave. He did not leave.
He had left, right, and then he was in the same hospital.
Oh, that's you're talking a different. You're talking about Sudama Maharaj in Japan. That's not him. ये वो दूसरे वाले जो तो साउथ एशिया में बोल रहे हैं वाला गया. Anyway, सुदामा महाराज का story मैंने बताया already बहुत बार. ठीक है. Any other questions, reflections, anyone? Anything you like stuck in your head that you're taking back?
Can one continuously think about Krishna? Practicing,
Practice makes a man perfect. So put effort, inject yourself in association of devotees whenever possible. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll do a quick.
Chanting.
Huh?
You have to chant.
Of course, we have to chant. So we'll do quick 5-minute kirtan and again move there. You want the kartal? Simpler tunes would help. वो 2 ताल वगैरह मैं बजा नहीं सकता. हाँ. Something more simpler will be helpful, but ठीक है.